Hey guys! So I did end up with some free time today to be able to do story time part 2. And I know we left off with tarot, so I will go into that. So the tarot, I actually started off with basically as a total nerd. I studied the booklet that came with my cards, like it was index cards, and I was studying for a final. and Because I took it really seriously and I cared a lot about what taking it seriously, I suppose, even though I was still not really telling other people I was taking it seriously. I would kind of joke around about it, or just kind of tread the waters with them a little bit, like, ooh, I'm doing this. It's very weird how accurate it's been. Like, haha, who would have thought? Just to see how they would react to it. And to be honest, not everyone was on board from the get-go. I know my own partner has taken a long time to become accustomed to me being spiritual. He and I were both, he's full atheist, but I was agnostic leaning towards atheism. And um, we had to really navigate that. So when I first started, I was a little scared because not only was I afraid of being disappointed, but I knew what I looked like to other people. I knew that people would think I was crazy, or that I would look like, um, like a fanatic, I suppose, or somebody who should be thrown in an asylum for saying that she believes that a deck of cards is going to tell her future, or that if she says an incantation over a candle that something will happen. I could see it so clearly from his perspective because it was previously mine until I had my own personal physical evidence of it. And so these readings, it was really frustrating because they said the right things for me to believe, but not the right things for other non-believers around me to get on board. But I was also pleasantly surprised with the people in my life that did accustom themselves to it really quickly and even join me in it, like a lot of my family, which I was really shocked because I honestly had no idea what they would think about it, one way or the other. But I do come from a family of strong opinions, so I knew if they didn't like it, that I was definitely going to hear about it. And so I was nervous. I was really nervous. But they've been really good about it, and I'm really happy and grateful that that's the case. But yeah, so I was doing all these readings for myself, and I started doing them for friends and family. I believe the first reading I did for another person was my sister Britt, because she and I had done miniature divination as kids. I don't know if I mentioned this in the previous video, but we wrote the words yes and no on a pink pearl eraser and we would flip it, and it would say yes or no. I think there was a maybe side too. We would just ask yes or no questions, and it was creepy accurate. Until it told me that me and my sophomore boyfriend were not meant to be, and then I was like, it's not true. But so she was the first person that I opened up to about it outside of my mentor, and I think, and some online friends as well, who were also kind of getting into it, which was interesting. We all had a very parallel path. One of my friends was actually already into it, and then the other one was kind of on the same timeline as me, maybe a little earlier. So they were helpful. And I read for my sister, and it was even more accurate than when I read for myself. And it was disturbingly Like, she'll remember, because it was weird. Again, it did not do predictions. It did almost like a therapy analysis, which I later learned is because I am a healer, so I don't just, not that I haven't predicted things, because I have, but I work more with your soul's healing, I suppose, or like the place that you are in life and how we can use it to your advantage to move forward towards what you want, which always goes back to needing to heal something from your past, or from your present. And so I realized, like, my cards are always very, like, hard hitting. It's rarely that they're like, yeah, on Tuesday, like, you're gonna run into Beth at the grocery store and she's gonna say some shit. Like, and never. Mine is like, you had this deep trauma when you were 5. Like, um, just an FYI for if you do end up getting a reading with me. It's the same thing with astrology, by the way. Like, the way that people's guides speak to me is always when you are ready to work on something. And it was very clear from the get-go that that was the case, because it started with me. It was saying, this is who you are, this is what you need to work on. That leads me back to the very first reading I received from my spiritual mentor. It was around the time that I bought my deck, and she did a reading for me with her deck. And she just did a 3-card spread. And and she did runes, which runes are my favorite. I'll get to those. But she did runes, and I know Urus was there. It looks like a house. And then Othala, which looks like an opening, and Degas. I think those were the 3. Honestly, I don't remember. I know Degas was there. It looked like a little bow tie. But it was about how I had gone through a lot. Like, I was in a shadow period, which looking back I was, and I just didn't know. And she visualized that seeing me in this dark void, and that is how I felt. Like, she was like, you're moving but you don't know where to, and it feels like you're in one place but you're not. And like, she was just saying all this stuff, and every word resonated with me in a very deep way that I didn't even know would resonate. And then the second one was, she visualized a path that would light up. So I think it was Kenna. I think it was, because it's the torch. And she visualized a path, and that I would be on this path of light, but there would still be darkness around me. But as long as I stayed on this path, that I would find what I was looking for and who I was. And it ended with me being the light instead of just following it, being a light that shone outwards. And I just started like getting tears in my eyes, and yeah. But anyway, so she also did a tarot reading for me as well, and it was along the same lines, and it predicted a few things. I really wish I could remember. I'm looking. Oh, it's not under here. It is. Damn it. I was gonna look at my journal. So hold on a second. I had you guys like propped up on this with some crystals. But honestly, this journal won't have it. It would be a different journal. Sorry guys, hold on. Okay. we're gonna sit on the floor. I wonder if I can prop you on this. And I really wish I had an editor. You guys are gonna just have to see all this. Sorry. Stay. Okay. So this is my very first tarot journal. So, Wednesday, September 22nd, 2018. Did a strength and victory ritual on my desk before sending off my first query, a bit messy but full of good intentions. Crystals from my door opening intentions candle, which was the road opener, have finally appeared, but flame is still going strong. Trying not to exhaust my tarot with my never-ending questions. Oh my god, I ask them everything every day. But it seems to care about me even when it's being a bit playful or sassy with its answers. My mentor read my runes and chakra energies. I was just talking about this. I was lost in a dark void in my past. I am currently discovering my inner light. My future is a golden lit path through a deep forest. Okay, so I had it opposite. I am the light and then I follow the light. I need to work on my mind and body since those chakras were the most cloudy, and she saw my aura as a light blue. And my totem at the time was an otter, which I thought was hilarious. Update, intention candle has finished burning and the crystals fit perfectly in a bronze pouch necklace of mine. Oh my gosh, I still have that necklace. And I started switching out crystals to help with working retail, which I'll get to in the next story. Sorry that these are so non-linear, but honestly, so is life. But yeah, so that was my first official tarot thing that I wrote down as an update. And what was on right afterward before I go? September 11th. That's September 7th. Pit Mad, which is the name of the contest, was super successful. Several agent likes and 2 full requests. Having trouble reading my tarot, or perhaps they're telling me things I don't want to hear. That's super common, by the way. Feel like I need to learn more about myself in the craft. I was given world reverse, not cool. And I hope it's not anything serious. I was asking if my tarot was cool with more questions. Also got the devil, and I'm unsure what chains I'm meant to break. Oh, I learned. Asked the cards how long I'll wait for agent responses, and got Queen of Wands reversed, Ace of Cups reversed, Tower reversed. I did not end up getting an agent, despite all of the spell work I did to get it. And that will be in the next story as well. I will explain what it's like to do spell work and realizing that you're doing it from an unhealed space and thus not getting the results you want because they're not actually what you want. They're what you think you want. So lots of fun, heavy stuff. I hope you guys are still healthy and doing well. Sorry about again, but I'm not actually sorry because I'm just sharing my story with you and this is how I tell it. So I hope you're just enjoying it and that it's distracting you from any stress going on. Lots of love, lots of light. Have a good one.